name is Pam Elardo. I'm the director of the County Wastewater Treatment. I'm also a member of the CRD Program Commission. King County supports the CRD in the development of wastewater systems for the greater Victoria area. In fact, I serve on that board at no cost to the CRD. I'm here to talk today about loop. Biosolids that come from our wastewater division is a very valuable product, and I would like you to understand its value and benefit to your communities. For me, my background, I started as an environmental scientist in grade school. I was an environmental activist as a young adult. I have a chemical engineering degree from Northwestern University and a master's degree in environmental engineering from the University of Washington. I've done international sanitation and water supply work in the developing world. I have 14 years with the Washington State Department of Ecology, working in the regulatory field, and also 12 years in the wastewater treatment division, the last 3 of which I served as the director. The King County Wastewater Treatment Division is one of the most important clean water utilities in the Puget Sound region. We take pride in our vision of creating resources from wastewater, which is the holistic environmental perspective that we operate under. This slide shows our regional service area and the details of our system. King County WTD serves 1.5 million customers, hundreds of kilometers of major pipelines, 5 treatment plants, of which Brightwater, our newest plant, is closest to the scale of what's planned for Victoria. We create valuable resources, fertilizer products and biosolids, energy through biogas, recycled water for irrigation and industrial uses, all of which have high environmental and economic value. Our mission is to protect public health and enhance the environment while being the best financial stewards of public funds. We hold these 3 things together: public health, the environment, and financial stewardship in the highest regard for everything that we do. Loop Biosolids is exemplary of these principles. Through Loop, we recycle carbon and nutrients back to the land. Recycling carbon and nutrients should be just as important to environmentalists as recycling paper and metal. In a time where fossil fuel-based fertilizers are standard, phosphorus availability is diminishing, and loss of soil organic matter is widespread, biosolids are a great resource to return carbon and nutrients back to the land. What is Loop? Loop are biosolids made at King County treatment plant. Biosolids come from the food we eat. After our bodies use our food, we send it to the wastewater treatment plant. There, we clean the water by removing solids using anaerobic digestion to break them down. After 30 days of digestion, we are left with a safe soil amendment full of nutrients and carbon. We take that soil amendment to our customers, usually farmers, who use Loop to grow crops like wheat, produce food, and the Loop cycle continues. This slide shows the impact of Loop biosolids on crops. Increased photosynthesis pulls more carbon out of the atmosphere and puts it into plant tissues. Here you can see the difference in the amount of plant growth, amount of wheat growth with no fertilizer, with synthetic fertilizer, and Loop applied at the same fertilizer rate as synthetic fertilizer. We see similar effects in forests. In addition to agriculture, our Loop soil amendment is used in commercial forestry, land reclamation, and as an ingredient in a compost used for urban gardening. Loop benefits plants, people, and Puget Sound. Loop boosts plant growth. Loop protects Puget Sound because it improves soil, reducing stormwater runoff and erosion, and also because it's made during the wastewater treatment process. Loop builds soil carbon, and anaerobic digestion used to make Loop produces biogas. This biogas is used as a sustainable alternative to fossil fuels and makes money for us, as some of our biogas is sold to the natural gas utility. Our biggest message for you today is that using biosolids reduces our carbon footprint. This information is often absent from the discussion about land application. Used as a soil amendment, biosolids increase soil carbon concentration, increases photosynthesis, which removes more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, provides growers an alternative to synthetic fertilizer made from fossil fuels. Loop builds soil carbon. Some of the carbon in Loop will stay in the soil for very long periods of time. Also, by boosting plant growth, plants add more carbon to the soil by depositing root tissue underground and dropping leaves on the soil surface. This is significant because soils have huge capacities to hold carbon, more than the atmosphere and all living plants on the earth combined. See the difference in these soil cores? The core on the bottom is much darker because biosolids were added. Just a few meters away, fertilizer was used, and the soil is not nearly as carbon rich. As a leader in the wastewater industry and a producer of quality biosolids, we have a great story to tell. This complex diagram depicts our energy production and use, and that's part of the story. I'll zoom into part of it. We are now able to determine our overall carbon impacts, positive and negative, for our operations. Because of Loop and our land application program, when you compare carbon offsets to greenhouse gas emissions, we are 70% of the way of becoming a carbon neutral utility, even though we are energy intensive at the same time. Recycling carbon and nutrients is very critical and an important weapon against global warming. To simply incinerate or landfill biosolids produced from wastewater, the wastewater that we all generate, is to sit on the sidelines and idly watch our planet's temperature rise. To disallow the beneficial use of biosolids is really anti-environmental on a global scale. I hope I can help the audience understand the gravity of this point. The public needs accurate information. Dr. Sally Brown is here to help. Often people confuse processed biosolids with raw sewage or sludge. Many have little personal experience with biosolids products. And there are misleading claims about land application of biosolids. The public needs credible information from knowledgeable sources. I encourage you to look at our product website for Loop, increase your understanding, grow your biosolids awareness, come to Brightwater Center, take a field trip to the field, and support education and university research. Loop works. Our data and experience demonstrate that every day Loop biosolids are safe and they work. Loop increases yield over synthetic fertilizer for plants and trees. Look at the tree slices side by side. You can see the Douglas fir grown with the help of Loop. By improving soils, Loop biosolids help increase crop yield, enhance wildlife and forest vegetation, and protect our wildlife. Finally, maximizing the beneficial uses of biosolids provide the best outcomes for the environment, for public health, and for financial stewardship. Biosolids are essential in our fight against global warming. We need to maximize all venues we have available to us to reduce the trends that we see now. We have a strong, safe, and successful biosolids land application program. We are doing our part to reduce our carbon footprint. This means we're responsible to our ratepayers, to all the residents of Puget Sound, to our neighbors in the north, as well as to the people of the planet, as well as to the earth itself. Thank you for your time.